Hey folks, how are we doing? Alright, well, we are back with the Temur food chain. I think this deck has some promise, and so I made some improvements over the previous list. So, we're playing 20 lands. 19 does not seem like enough. A lot of the old lists played 20 lands and 3 Birds of Paradise, and so I don't think that 19 lands quite cuts it. We really want to get to 3 mana. So I cut the third Misthollow Griffin. That card is basically a brick unless you're pitching it to Force of Will, but it's good to have around so you have more chances of just going off. Yeah, if you jam that food chain on turn 3, maybe if you have a Misthollow Griffin around and like a Fury that you can evoke, maybe you can make some magic happen. Although I did consider cutting Misthollow Griffin altogether. So moving on to the sideboard. So I've made some changes. So we got the Fairy Macabre in there that we can grab with the Recruiter. We've got some Meltdowns because 8-cast seems like it would be a pretty brutal matchup. And then we've cut the Urros. So the plan right now against Delver is to cut 4 Force of Wills and 2 Misthollow Griffins for 2 Endurance, 2 Pyroblast, and 2 Carpets. And so I would like to have Urro into the fold, but we don't really need it, and the deck has a lot of grinding power with Questing Druid and Ice-Fang Coatl already. One consideration I might, a thing I might do in the future is cut Misthollow Griffin altogether, and those could be Urros. But we'll give this list a shot as it is, and see how it goes, so let's do it. Well, we have a slow but grindy hand on the draw against Jeskai Necht. So it looks like my opponent plays some grindy decks in Legacy, but I guess I'm just gonna give this a shot. It doesn't look like they're on combo. Yep, so let's do it. I mean, this is a pretty good hand if we don't lose instantly. Alright, a Ponder. Now the Tundra means it could be Breakfast, but it could also just be, 4-color control. So they do shuffle, and we've drawn another combo piece. So I will just play a Misty Rainforest and pass. So we're looking to get a basic forest here and probably play Ice-Fang Coatl. Although I'm not quite sure how to judge the turn to Ice-Fang Coatl versus Seeking the Beast. But I guess I'd have to expect that Seeking the Beast is better later. I mean, where you don't get to keep the cards, your options are going to be limited. All right. Well, my opponent, it doesn't look like they're playing Breakfast. So that's probably good news, the way our hand is shaping up here. So they're cracking this Flooded Strand. They're getting a Volcanic Island. Alright, they are going to crack this Prismatic Vista. Get a basic island. Here's to Fairy. So we will respond with the Ice-Fang Coatl here. Coatl is in. We draw a Questing Druid, and are they just going to bounce the Coatl here? No. Well, we sure are drawing all the mana here. Okay. So I can still Seek the Beast through the Teferi, I believe. I just can't play the spells. All right. So it's a little unfortunate that we're not applying very much pressure here. But it is what it is. We can probably Questing Druid on their end step and go from there. All right, it's a Brainstorm. Well, they probably play some kind of combo finish like Narset into Days Undoing. What we want to do is start applying some pressure here, which Seeking the Beast should do. But what's this going to be here? Is it Narset? It sure is. Okay. All right, they get a Force of Will. All right, well, I'd say it is time to seek the beast. Oh, I can't seek the beast. Okay, it does count as playing a spell. I guess that makes sense. Okay. Well, I could seek the beast on my turn here. There's not too much that's exciting to find, sadly. And this Brainstorm doesn't do very much. We know they have a Force of Will in hand. So maybe I'll just attack the Narset and then play this Misthollow Griffin. And see what they want to do. Get a Tropical Island. Play the Misthollow, which, you know, does reveal what it is that we're up to. All right, well, the Misthollow is in. They will bounce it with the Narset, makes sense. I mean, the Teferi. And do they just have Days Undoing here? No, it's something else. A 4th Year Lingus for 3. Okay. Well, that will end the game in a hurry. And we're drawing more lands. All right, well, getting the initiative doesn't really help against my opponent's Narset. I guess I'm gonna seek the beast and see what happens. Okay, we did find a lightning bolt. So that is something. Okay, so I can play Questing Druid. And then we can lightning bolt the Narset. So this might get a Force of Will, and it does. That makes it less important to attack my opponent. I guess I'll attack Teferi. If they want to activate Narset, that's cool with me. The Monarchy is not going to help me draw cards, so yeah, I'm just going to attack Teferi here. And then, I mean, there's some chance that maybe we rip Food Chain, and so something good happens next turn. They uptick Teferi. Play Brainstorm. A prismatic ending on my Druid. So I can still try to seek the beast to find this food chain and maybe play it if they don't have another Force of Will. All right, they get a card off the Monarchy. Imperial Recruiter. Unfortunately, I cannot recruit for Fury. All right, so I'm going to seek the beast. And we got, we did not get there on the food chain, sadly. Well, I could play the Walking Ballista and like take out the Narset or the Teferi. I guess I'll play the Misty Rainforest from exile. I could seek the beast again. I guess I can play one Questing Druid and then seek the beast with the other, although I won't be able to play the cards. But it does keep the Questing Druid around. I think I'm pretty dead here, so I mean, I might just scoop to save time. But I can't play Brainstorm because of the Narset, and there's nothing to really recruit for. I think they've got this one, and yeah, I'm just gonna save time and move on here. Okay, so I can bring in Pyroblast for some lightning bolts. And then, I mean, Force of Will is okay. Well, Lightning Bolt does hit Planeswalkers, which can be good. I mean, so maybe I want to board out Force of Will. Bring in the Carpet. Although our mana, I mean, they're not really playing Daze. We're probably not going to be short on mana. Endurance would be another threat. We just need to not lose to their Planeswalkers. This would be where it'd be nice to have like Uro or a load of Pyroblasts. I mean, if we're boarding out Force of Will, I don't really need the Misthollow Griffin. Endurance is just better. But I could try to get them with Veil of Summer. That's a nice value card. I mean, maybe that's just better than the Carpet. The Carpet does potentially represent a lot of mana. So maybe we can make do with 2 lightning bolts. All right, I'll try this. All right, I would like to play first. I guess I'm gonna keep this crazy one-lander and try to get there with Brainstorm. Scalding Tarn from the opponent. I think I might just go for the end of turn Brainstorm. I mean, we play so many lands here compared to like Delver. Well, 2 more lands anyway. Although Wasteland would not be a hit, and so really it's like 6 more lands. If I can just not brick on this Brainstorm, then I can play Ice-Fang Coatl and start adding to the board here. The opponent's gonna crack their Scalding Tarn and Pyroblast my Brainstorm, so I'm really glad I did this on their end step. Because otherwise I would just be out of luck here. They would just Pyroblast my cantrip here, and yeah, I'd be out of mana. So these cards seem good. Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice to have another blue source, but we can start playing Ice-Fang Coatls. All right, they're gonna ponder. I mean, I could try to Brainstorm again right here, which might be pushing it. I guess I'm just gonna Ice-Fang Coatl. It's unfortunate that we're kind of stuck on lands after not being stuck on lands at all. The previous game we're flooding out here, but what are you gonna do? All right, so they're just gonna do nothing. I will play the Ice-Fang. Maybe they have another Pyroblast here or a Snapcaster Mage to flash back the Pyroblast. Waddles in. We are bricking on lands. Well, we'll try this Brainstorm. We do have a Veil of Summer to protect it, so that is something. Okay. These cards are not terrible. It's just too bad we are shy on mana to protect this food chain with. If I had one more mana, we could play Food Chain and then Veil of Summer their Force of Will. But the good news is we do have a bunch of threats, like Ice-Fang Coatl and Endurance. Okay, we're getting some action. It's a Narset. I'm gonna Ice-Fang in response. And what are they going to find here? A Force of Will, of course. And we're just stuck on mana. It's pretty frustrating. I guess I'm not gonna panic though. We can play this Endurance on their end step, and we have Fury. If I could just get one more mana, we would really be in business. Swords to Plowshares on my Ice-Fang, sure. Days Undoing. Well, I guess I should have taken out their Narset when I had the chance. That's frustrating, but what are you gonna do? Graveyards are gonna be shuffled in anyway, so we'll just let this happen. Well, I could have Furied their Narset, but I didn't. Kill the Narset, attack our opponent. Man, I could play the Food Chain here, it just doesn't really do much. Man, if we weren't just stuck on red mana and could have lightning bolted the Narset, that would have been great. But that is not the situation we're in. Alright, the opponent is Brainstorm and Pondering. Here's a Supreme Verdict. Man, that's a beating. I mean, I guess I could have Veiled in response to draw a card, but maybe we can thread the needle and win this game somehow. Yeah, I don't really want to just deploy the Food Chain where they can just Prismatic Ending it. But yeah, we are just wasting time here. Okay. Okay, we can just concede to the 4th Earlingus. They'll get 5 2/2 tokens. Well, that was rough. Man, if we had just found a red mana though in game 2, I feel like it really would not have been hard. All right. Okay, on the draw. On the draw for game 2. Against a Scrubland, into a Dark Ritual. Into a Palantir of Orithonk. Well, we can just force that one. Not really getting Wasteland vibes here, so I'm just going to get Tropical Island. Tap for 2 or 1 and play the Ponder. These are all the combo components. And a land. Although they're not really cards that I want to seek the beast into, but I can just shuffle my library before that's an issue. So yeah, we'll draw the Recruiter. So they were all in on that Palantir, it seems, okay? Well, I guess I'm going to go ahead and seek the beast here. They are going to Entomb. Well, that could be bad news. If they just have Reanimate. But it looks like they do not, okay? Unless they are going to second main phase it. They aren't. Okay. So I could play the Questing Druid first. I guess I'm not gonna, there's no need to play the Questing Druid. We're kind of in the control role here. Orcish Bowmaster. Okay. All right, well, these cards, I think I'm just gonna shuffle. We already have Recruiter. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna Fury and deal with their Bowmaster situation. I really can't Seek the Beast into a counterspell. I'm just gonna play out the Questing Druid and hope they don't get there on the Reanimate. Well, they are playing Wasteland. And a Dothy Voidwalker, okay. Can live with that. And a Wasteland on my Taiga. Alright. Okay. So we can attack for 1 through their Shadow. And I'm gonna Seek the Beast on my end step here. Okay, we mostly find Brainstorm, but there's the food chain. So we have the win next turn if we can just survive here. Yeah, Exile Zone is crazy. I guess I don't need to play this Brainstorm, and they could have the Orcish Bowmaster. And we need this food chain in play to win, so I'm just gonna let the Brainstorm go. The Bowmaster would take out the Questing Druid. But here we can just play Questing Druid. Oh no, I was supposed to play food chain. Oh no. Man, that was bad. And now I can't even play the food chain. That is not what I wanted to do. Dang. I took my eye off the prize there. Okay. Wow, I wish that food chain was in play. I guess we'll just try again here. Well, there's the food chain on top of my library. So if we can survive the turn, we'll be okay. We need to not get our Recruiter discarded also. Alright, it's another Voidwalker, so I'm not going to be punished for my stupid mistake. I just clicked on the wrong green card in exile there. Okay. I guess I'll attack for 2. Exile this for red. You have the yips, I think is what you call that. We'll get the Walking Ballista. Exile Imperial Recruiter for blue, and see if our opponent wants us to click through this or not. Early indications point to yes. Alright, they conceded. Alright. Alright, so against this black-white reanimator scam kind of deck. So Veil of Summer, Endurance, and Fairy Macabre, what I'm interested in. I mean, Flusterstorm. If they're a more devoted reanimator list, I think this would be better. But if they're just going to be griefing or playing Dauthi Voidwalker, the Flusterstorm won't be too exciting. Magus of the Moon seems like it might be good against their mana base, but we're probably not going to try to squeeze that in. So I want to keep my Force of Wills in. And my Lightning Bolts. So I might just trim on Questing Druid here, because I want to keep my blue count high enough for Force of Will. And the Questing Druid's a nice value engine. This is another matchup where Uro might be good, although Uro would have been pretty slow in the previous one. And so with all this in mind, I just need one more cut. I'm thinking maybe I'll just trim a Fury here. I mean, we do want to hit their Bowmasters, but 2 Furies is probably enough. We have Endurance to come in and do the thing where it speeds up our food chain. So we know that our opponent's on Wasteland, so I'm probably going to fetch a basic island here. We just have so many cantrips that we're hoping to play. They take the Ice-Fang Coatl, that's interesting. They probably do have a Bowmaster, is what's going on, and they are not concerned about my cantrips. So an easy shuffle on 3 lands there. They're going to play something right here. Dauthi Voidwalker. Alright, well that is not a Bowmaster, so that's good. Fury. I'm going to fire off this Brainstorm. More lands. So I'll put back a Scalding Tarn and another Scalding Tarn. I guess I want to fetch something that taps for blue here. I guess I'll just get Volcanic Island, and if we get wasted... Alright, there's more mana coming, so that's good news. So... this Misthollow Griffin pitching to Force of Will. I think we can have the Taiga at the bottom there, and if we get wastelanded, we can draw to it. But now we have the Misthollow Griffin in hand, and then we can draw the Lightning Bolt next turn. Alright, it's a Dark Ritual shenanigan into an opposition agent. Well, this is going to be a Fury blowout. I could Fury pitching the Imperial Recruiter, potentially. Or I could just Fury pitching the Lightning Bolt. What do I want to pitch here? The Lightning Bolt protects against future Bowmasters, but I guess Bowmaster's not a threat right now, and I have a Brainstorm that I can play right now. Alright. Alright, Fury is in. Alright, and I guess I need to Brainstorm now. We only get to see 2 new cards, but there's a food chain. So we want to play that next turn. We've got the combo all set up here. I guess I'm going to hide the food chain on top and play the Taiga and pass the turn. Reanimate on the opposition agent from the opponent. So I do need to Force of Will that because it shuts off the Imperial Recruiter. Okay. We have the food chain down. And so now we just need to survive one more turn. I guess if they have another opposition agent, okay, it looks like they don't. That would have been a problem. All right, and now we can just Recruiter for the win. Just gonna grab the Walking Ballista. Exile for blue. And we'll see how long the opponent wants to do the loop here. Okay, they conceded. Okay, we're gonna be on the play for game 3. I guess I'll keep this Brainstorm force hand with lands. That seems fine. I'll play Tropical Island and pass, and if they want to wasteland me, that is cool. Seagate Reborn. So are we up against the Rhinos, or are we up against something else? Like Omnitel also plays the Seagate Restoration. Although Seagate Restoration, I believe, is less popular in Rhinos of late. All right, I'm gonna fire off the Brainstorm here. We have plenty of cards that we want to put back. And pass the turn. A Lotus Petal. Well, I would say it is not Rhinos. And it is, in fact, some kind of a Karn the Great Creator. So do I just want to force this, pitching the Hydroid Krasis? Probably. Yeah, the force resolved, so that's nice. All right, we can clear the top of our library. And just lands every turn with this deck. I mean, there's like a pretty good chance we find a blue card here. Yeah, that is a blue card. And I guess I shall seek the beast. The beast will be sought. Okay, we have some good ones. The beast, yeah, was kind today. So we just kind of need to survive, well, 2 more turns, really. Soul Guide Lantern. Well, I'm not going to fight over that one. I have my Force of Will from the graveyard. All right, they're just going to cycle their Soul Guide Lantern. So this is a Karn deck, which means we have to think about Walking Ballista. Because Karn does shut off Walking Ballista. A Painter's Servant. So should I just go ahead and Force of Will this also? I think so. Puts the Griffin into exile. Okay. So then we get to play Food Chain and Ponder on this turn. All right, Food Chain is in. Now we'll play Ponder. Well, there's the Walking Ballista. So if we just survive next turn without getting Karned, we'll be all set. I feel like it's not very likely they can make me discard this Walking Ballista. There's a better chance they somehow make me shuffle my library, so I'm just going to draw the Ballista. I mean, Vendilion Click is the only thing that I think could get this out of my hand. And I'm sure they're not playing Vendilion Click. They have another Saga. All right. We'll just grab another island. Unfortunately, we probably have to click through it. Because they're not gonna... I don't get to recruit for Walking Ballista so that they can see it. Okay, they're gonna make a construct. So we do get to make the infinitely large Questing Druid. Which unfortunately makes the clicks take longer. I guess I'll say something in chat. And see if they want to do anything, but otherwise I'm gonna skip here and we'll pick it up at the end. Okay, we've gotten to 40 mana, so we can play the 2020 Ballista. I could do the rotation, you know, the clicks a couple more times. And I'm playing with a shrunk window here because it just makes it smaller. Let me just fix that. So it's less time to negotiate, yeah, the mouse. And we have a nice 34/34 Questing Druid. And now we just have to go through these clicks. All right, the Ballista is in. We'll deal 1 damage to them and save targets. They have F6, so this is going to be a win. Okay, it only took a crazy amount of clock, but we are in there. Okay. So this mono blue painter deck. Okay, so the Meltdowns, yeah, Pyroblast and Ouphes and Magus of the Moon to hit Urza Saga all seem promising. I think I'm once again going to board out the Questing Druids. We don't want to make our blue count too low for Force of Will. I mean, I want Bolt for the Painter's Servant and to potentially hit Karn with. Although maybe these Furies aren't needed. Well, I like the surprise win ability of Fury with Food Chain. But I could make it, like, Endurance would also give us some surprise win ability. And the ability to come back from getting hit by the Grindstone. I mean, the Misthollow Griffin does pitch to Force of Will. Maybe I could do 1 Fury. It's going to be less exciting to go through the clicks. We've already used up a bunch of clock. And probably 3 Furies aren't needed. I think I'm just going to run the Questing Druids. I think I'm going to run the Misthollow Griffins and 1 Fury. Okay. Well, we don't have Force of Will, but we have an answer for Painter and other good stuff. Okay, well, there's a Force of Will. All right, Saga's taken up. They don't have Ancient Tomb, so they're not going to get super far off this Saga. I guess maybe I should have played Wooded Foothills there for the potential to Lightning Bolt and Pyroblast on the same turn here. But we'll see what they want to get. Yeah, that was, I should have thought harder about that land drop. Although if they're all in on Painter here, and they have like a Lion's Eye Diamond, I think that's the only way they could really go all in on Painter. They'll have to discard their hand, so we're probably going to get another turn. It looks like we are. So let's play the Ice-Fang. So the Ouphe is in the deck to fetch with Imperial Recruiter. That is the thing about Imperial, the Ouphe, is that, yeah, I could do it now, but then I'm tapped out. So it's hard to have, it's hard to surprise the opponent with it. Maybe next turn I can recruit for the Ouphe, and then I'll be holding up a mana for Pyroblast or Lightning Bolt. Another Saga, wow. Man, Magus of the Moon would be pretty stellar also. So I'm gonna Brainstorm here. Okay. So I need to get a blue source so I can play this Ice-Fang Coatl this turn. So maybe it'll just be another Volcanic Island. Another Recruiter. Okay. Well, I'm going to keep the Coatls on defense so they can get the Shadow Spear and give their boys trample, but they will be dying to the Ice-Fang Coatl. It's not the worst thing in the world. I could Lightning Bolt that token right now, but I think I want to save my Lightning Bolt for Painter. Okay, some Sagas are happening. What are we going to get off this Saga? Maybe I should have fetched in response because I opened myself up to Pithing Needle there and that wasn't smart. Okay, another Saga. They sure have all the Sagas here. A name sticker goblin. Well, that does not seem like the thing I want to Force of Will. So they're just going to use this to make more construct tokens, it would seem. And equip the Shadow Spear. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so they're probably going to attack. So we'll get the island, so we have Death Touch. All right. A Fury. So I could play that right now. And no, that does not eliminate the whole board. So I do want to get another snow land, so my guy has Death Touch. So I guess I'll get the Snow Island. Then I am going to recruit for the Ouphe. Okay, so they want to force a will the Ouphe. I guess I'm going to force back pitching the Krasis, which is a little unfortunate because that is that requires less clicks to win with than the Walking Ballista. But the Ouphe is now in, and then I'm going to pass the turn. Okay, it looks like they're gonna not immediately make a Saga token. They're just gonna search for an artifact that can't be activated, at least on the current board. It's a Mox Opal, City of Traders, Lotus Petal. That doesn't do a lot either. Glad I have this Ouphe in play. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna trade the Ice-Fang for the Construct. Force of Will. Okay, well, I'm gonna just go ahead and recruit for a Coatl. And I guess I'll just play it out now. Play the Ice-Fang. Okay. All right, Coatl's in there. We have the Force backup. So we can block this Construct token. All right, they're making another Construct. Makes sense. We do have Meltdown in the deck. So maybe we'll find that at some point. Here's an Ancient Tomb, so they lose the City of Traders. Yeah, we're probably just going to take the damage from the Sticker Goblin here. Take out the Construct. Oh, there's the Meltdown. All right, well, that's going to make the game easy. So let's melt down the board. And there's the concession. All right, well, we didn't have to click through another food chain loop, so that was nice. Okay, round 4. Well, we have Force of Will and Fury. All right, well, my opponent hasn't put up any legacy results in some time, since 2020. This hand is probably just too sketchy to keep. But this is certainly a lot better. So we'll keep this and put back the Walking Ballista. Then we've got Force and a Ponder and a Bolt. So yeah, let's run this. And we're on the play, of course. So I guess I'll just play this Ponder. And yeah, Brainstorm and Bolt and another land. Those are probably fine. We'll really be in business if this Bolt is good. Well, it's a Karakas, Mox, and Diamond start for the opponent here. So is this the initiative? Is that what's going on? Archon of Emeria. So we have the Lightning Bolt for that, so that is pretty swell. We'll just get rid of that. A Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So I could just Lightning Bolt the token, or I could just Force a Will this. Yeah, I think that forcing the Fable, it doesn't feel like the way that I want to take this game. I think I'm gonna go ahead and Brainstorm here and see what we're working with. Okay, these are some cards. I'll put back a land. I guess the Ice-Fang on top. I mean, does it matter to like Bolt the Shaman? They already have plenty of mana for whatever they want to do. And they might play like a Caves of Chaos Adventure. I don't think it really matters if they have 4 versus 5 mana. Like, we'll want to Bolt the Fable if it comes down to it. The Reflection of Kiki-Jiki 2/2 creature, I mean. It would have been nice to play the Ice-Fang Coatl on our turn, or this turn cycle, but we have the basic mountain, which prevents that, of course. They discard some cards. Here's a cavern. That's going to make me wish I had bolted the Fable. They, okay, well, whatever they're about to play here can be countered. Maybe it's a 4th Year Lingus. So we'll force that. Yeah, and I guess we're just letting them get in for 2. Just lightning bolting the shaman token just doesn't seem that important. Alright, so we'll draw the Ice-Fang. Guess duels don't really matter here. Or basics, I mean. Double red would let me cast Squee potentially. Let's get the food chain out. So they get to exile the Kiki Jiki, play a land. Get in for 2. They at least don't have a hasty initiative guy. They're just passing the turn. Fury. Okay, well let's start by playing the Ice-Fang. Imperial Recruiter's like the draw here. Okay, so we'll play Fury and exile the Lightning Bolt. Then we're gonna successfully exile the I guess I'm gonna make blue off the Fury because we need we just got to make sure that we can play the Krasis that we're about to get. Here's Fury doing what it's supposed to, which is exciting. Then we'll make green off the Ice-Fang. Play Imperial Recruiter. Grab the Hydroid Krasis. Krasis. Exile this for more blue. And then we've got a reasonably macho Hydroid Krasis here. 9/9. And we'll draw some cards and gain some life. Okay, well we don't win the game instantly, but we do have this 9/9 in play. So it looks like they are coming in with a Solitude on the end step. That's fine. We'll gain a bunch of life here. And they just have 1 card in hand, and we have Ponder and Ice-Fang to reload with. Lotus Petal, not very threatening. Okay, so let's play the Ice-Fang. Let's play Ponder. Another Fury. Well, that's potentially a good one, I guess. Or I could just shuffle. The 2 lands that come after it really aren't very good, and we already have a Lightning Bolt, so I guess I will just shuffle. I think another Coatl is, in fact, better. So they're probably going to attack with a Solitude, and I think I'm just going to take it. I'd rather a Lightning Bolt and Archon of Emeria. They're just passing the turn. Okay. So I'll attack for 1. All right, here's the attack. We'll get a basic island. Play a Death Touchy Ice-Fang. There's the Imperial Recruiter. I'm gonna play the Recruiter. And I guess I want Walking Ballista. The alternative would be maybe Questing Druid, which would let us see more cards. Maybe I will just get Questing Druid. That at least is a big threat. Or it can grow to be a big threat at any rate. Okay, and they're ready to concede. So I guess getting Questing Druid was the right choice. Yeah, so we're pre-sideboarded for the initiative matchup with the 3 Furies in the main deck. We could potentially bring in Meltdown for Chalice, I suppose. The thing is we really don't care about Chalice of the Void, other than these 12 1-drops. So they might play a turn 1. They might play a turn 1 Chalice, and we might have a hand loaded up with Ponder and Brainstorm. But aside from that, it's not a huge deal. Although it does shut off the Archon of Emeria, or Lightning Bolt on Archon of Emeria, I mean. So maybe we could just trim a Ponder, and the Questing Druid's a little slow, and I'll just bring in the Meltdowns. We're trimming a Ponder because it's a 1-drop that plays into their Chalice. Well, this hand has Force of Will and Fury and Food Chain, so I think there's enough going on here that I like. This is a hand that can easily ignore the Chalice on 1. Okay, so the opponent's on a mulligan to 6. And they're playing this Chalice on 1. I'm just going to let it resolve. It'll be unfortunate if we draw a card that costs 1. Which we sure do, but I can at least pitch it to Force of Will. They do have the Cavern. Okay. So what kind of human do we have here? Do we have a Spirit Guide and an Initiative? Okay. I guess this Anointed Peacekeeper is a bit of a problem. Oh. I guess I was supposed to crack my Scalding Tarn. That was foolish. Well, well, the good news is I just need to draw a red card to pitch to my Fury to rectify the issue. If they name Scalding Tarn, which they probably should. Or if we top deck lands, it doesn't matter too much either. If they name Food Chain, well, that is fine by me. And we drew lands. Okay. I'll just play the Snow-Covered Forest and keep the Misty a secret that they don't know about. Yeah, and they can attack me for 3 here. There's a Caracas. They'll get in for 3. No problem. Okay, so we'll crack this Scalding Tarn. Grab a basic island. So we have the potential to get this Ice-Fang going. There's Walking Ballista. Okay, so if they attack with the Peacekeeper, we'll get to block it with the Ice-Fang. They probably won't fall for that one, would be my guess. But then we are getting close to just being able to hardcast Fury. So we have that going on as well. I suppose if we have the ability to hardcast Fury, we can just play Food Chain. Yeah, we can just play Food Chain for 5 mana as well. Just making sure that Food Chain does cost 5. It sure does. All right. Well, the opponent has a second Cavern, and they've named Archon, which is certainly worrying. They did not instantly play the Archon. Now they've passed the turn. Okay. Well, here's another Ice-Fang Coatl, so that's a good draw. We'll play this Taiga. Now I'm free to attack with the first Ice-Fang. And maybe they'll attack into my Ice-Fang, although they should suspect something is up. All right, they're down to 19. All right, we will pass it back and see if we can sneak attack them with the old Ice-Fang Coatl. So what we want to do is not crack that fetch land. If we do play the Ice-Fang Coatl, it'll have Death Touch by virtue of there being 2 Ice-Fangs and 2 snow-covered lands in play. I'm not going to counter a Mox Diamond. Well, I mean, this might let them... What do we got here? A Chalice of the Void on 2. Is this worth Force of Willing? Probably, I would say. I mean, I could just Ice-Fang in response. I mean, I'm sure they're not going to attack anyway, but I'm just going to force. Oh, and they are going to attack. No, they're not. No, they are going to attack. All right, well, this is good news for us. And there's the Recruiter. So, yeah, this is going to be a wrap. Okay, and they conceded. Okay, so we've got a force hand with the food chain on the draw. I mean, we're looking for a red source here, but I mean, I think you got to keep a hand like this. Okay, it looks like we're going to be up against an 8-cast strategy here. Emery, I think I do have to Force of Will this, sadly. If I just knew that I was going to draw a red source, we could have just lightning bolted it. But that is not the world we're in. Walking Ballista. Well, I'm glad that I lightning bolted it. And I'll just play a tropical island here and pass. I'm glad that I Force of Willed it, yeah, because we did not have a lightning bolt. Here's a Saga, and here's a Patchwork Automaton, okay? And a second Emery. Well, I would still take that red source. Okay, this is a crazy Entomb version of the deck. We are not going to get there, sadly. I mean, I could play the Questing Druid. Yeah, I could play the Questing Druid, and we can actually climb the food chain thanks to the Krasis? No, we can't, because we would Questing Druid. We'd play the food chain, sacrifice the Questing Druid to the food chain, have 3 mana, then play Hydroid Krasis. We'd have to play it for 3. And it would still only make 3 mana. So we're in a bummer of a spot here. We just did not get there on the lands. If we do find just one more land here, I would say we've got it, is the good news. Unless they do something like play Days Undoing. A Walking Ballista for our opponent, that's cool. Okay, they're just getting in for 3. All right, deck, let's draw a land. Bummer. Okay, well, we can actually climb the food chain, though, if we draw the land next turn. Because we'll go food chain, Questing Druid, have 4 mana, go infinite with the Misthollow Griffin, and then Ballista our opponent. All right, the Druid is in. All right, the opponent's gonna make a Saga token. All right, they'll play a Chromatic Star. I don't think they can do 16 damage this turn. Oh, but they can play Walking Ballista and pick off our Questing Druid. And that would put an end to the food chain shenanigan, huh? Bummer. And another Walking Ballista for 0. They'll attack for 11 here. So they'd have to mess up pretty catastrophically to let me climb the food chain. Yeah, they're not going to do it. If I had Fury, if I had Fury, we could climb the food chain here, obviously. Okay, well, Ice-Fang Coatl is a chump blocker. And we just did not get there with the mana, though, this game. So I'm not playing the Ice-Fang Coatl to make it harder for them to hit it with Lightning Bolt. I mean, hit it with Walking Ballista. So we might be able to set up a situation where we can play Ice-Fang Coatl and draw a Fury, and they have the Ballista. Okay. So yeah, they can just ping my Ice-Fang Coatl, and we don't have a chump blocker. All right, yep. So we're just dead. Okay. But if we had drawn like Fury and a land, could have got there. Well, there was the Scalding Tarn about to come finally. All right, so the opponent's Walking Ballistas are kind of effective against us in terms of climbing the food chain. Makes me not want to just instantly board out the Furies. But I definitely want the Ouphe and the Pyroblast and the Meltdown, and then Magus the Moon would be a consideration. Well, one way to board would be to board out the Questing Druids. I mean, the Ice-Fang eats it to the Walking Ballista. But what's better? Maybe the Questing Druid is better. Yeah, the thing about boarding out Ice-Fang Coatl is it really hampers the number of blue cards. I mean, 17 is probably too low already. Well, maybe I can trim a Fury to get a blue card back in. That's 18. I mean, I could just do the one Fury. It's not very good against their ward creatures, and it is just pretty much for climbing the food chain. Okay. Well, this hand is pretty uninspiring, but I guess you have to keep here. We got Ponder and Force of Will and lands. Okay, so I'm not worried about having basics so much here. All right, these are good cards. All right, it's an Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal, Opal. What's the big play gonna be? Chromatic Star. Orcish Bowmaster. Is this worth forcing? I mean, I guess I want to play the Coatl that's on top of my library and not have it instantly get killed. And they're passing the turn. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this forest. We do have the snow with the other two lands. Turn on the Coatl. To draw a card, Lightning Bolt is not a bad one. It's another Lotus Petal for the opponent. They're just passing the turn. So I'm going to recruit here, and the options would be Magus or Collector Ouphe. I guess I'm going to see what happens if I attack here. Nothing. Okay. Well, we can always find Meltdown to deal with Saga tokens, but Imperial Recruiter does snuff that problem out nicely. I mean, Magus of the Moon does. But I guess I just have to get the Collector Ouphe. They went to tap their Spire of Industry, so I don't know if that means that they have Metallic Rebuke, but I guess I'm just going to grab the Ouphe and hope for the best. Okay, an Orcish Bowmaster. That's fine. And pick off the Recruiter. I don't know if they're about to play a draw 7 here and mess up my stuff. Cycling the Chromatic Star, it makes sense in light of the coming Collector Ouphe. An Emery. Well, we have the Lightning Bolt for the Emery. Although nothing they could play from their graveyard is too intimidating. So they've got 4 mana here. Is it a Walking Ballista? Is that the last card? It is. Okay. Okay, so they're going to get in for 2. Okay, so we get to play the Walking Ballista. Play the Collector Ouphe. I guess we'll do that. They're going to ping the Coatl. I could have attacked first, but it was obvious that they were going to ping the Coatl. Then, what do I want to bolt here is the question. So they can keep getting back artifacts with the Emery, but it just doesn't really matter. And then I do want to draw a card off this Ice-Fang Coatl, so maybe I should just take out the Bowmaster. So I guess that's the plan, is just to save Lightning Bolt for the Bowmaster and let them recur their artifacts that don't do anything. I guess I'll just take out the Bowmaster right now. They found themselves a Goblin Engineer. That's interesting. So they got a Patchwork Automaton. Well, we can always block that with the Coatl. And they're going to replay the Lotus Petal. Okay, so I'm going to slam the Ice-Fang before they get another Bowmaster. Here's a Misthollow Griffin. And we'll just pass it back. So they're going to replay the Automaton. And it looks like they're just going to pass the turn. I'm going to fetch to thin here. There's a Street Sweeper going up and down the road that's crazily loud. A Lightning Bolt. Okay. So do I need the Lightning Bolt, the Emery? It kind of just doesn't matter. Because they could get stuff back with the Engineer anyway. They can grow this Patchwork Automaton. I guess they can grow the Patchwork Automaton and then keep it coming back. But they're pretty close to dead, so it's probably best if I just try to attack their head. Yeah, so hopefully we can just attack with the Misthollow Griffin twice. Maybe they'll use their Ancient Tomb. I could try to reduce the clock by attacking with the Ice-Fang Coatl here. How many artifacts could they realistically play next turn? Yeah, I'll just attack with the Ice-Fang. We'll try to get them dead. Alright, so they're down to 9. They're going to use Engineer to put Chromatic Star in play. Which I guess will do something if they can take out my Ouphe. Oh, I see. They can use the Goblin Engineer to recur the Chromatic Star. Play another Patchwork Automaton, but they are dead next turn. If we can just attack in the sky for 4 and then Lightning Bolt them. You can get your Mox Opal back, or Lotus Petal. So this is an attack for 3. Yep, that's fine. We'll just take it. Okay, and now we can attack for 3 in the sky. I guess I'll attack with a Coatl too. Okay, and here's a lightning bolt. Okay. Alright, I guess with Magus of the Moon, or with the Meltdowns in the deck, I'll just go without the Magus of the Moon. I'm probably just going to want to recruit for the Ouphe. And that'll put another Fury back in, and there might be some positions where that's good. And I'm going to run this. Well, we have another really awkward land hand. But the opponent's on a mulligan to 6, and we do have the Ouphe. I think I'm going to keep. If we just draw like any color of mana in the next couple turns, it's probably good. City of Traders, Bauble, Petal. Okay. It is an Emery. Well, maybe we'll rip a red source here. We did rip a red source, wow. So I'll take out the Emery and pass the turn. So here's a Mox Opal and another Emery. Well, that Emery is pretty good. Okay, well, I'm gonna play the Collector Ouphe, but what does this crazy thing do? Okay, well, they're not gonna be able to... Hang on. Okay, so creatures with +1/+1 counters on them have all activated abilities of creatures exiled with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. But we're gonna have the Collector Ouphe in play. I don't think they'll be able to exile anything with the Soul Cauldron there. But they could potentially play a Walking Ballista from hand and have that cause problems. That would get a creature into play with +1/+1 counters, but it's not going to have any abilities. And this doesn't like exile anything when it just comes into play, right? Yeah, no, it does not. Okay. Force of Will, that's a nice draw. We'll play the Food Chain, attack for 2, and pass the turn. Okay, so they're down their City of Traders. So, I mean, that seems good. They're going to replay a Bauble, that's fine. Well, I'm sure we'll draw a blue source eventually. But we at least have Force of Will to sit back on here. Okay, they're going to play another Lotus Petal. Here's an Imperial Recruiter. We can attack for 2. And then recruit for Squee. And then play out these Ice-Fang Coatls. Yeah, I don't see a reason to do anything else. Okay, there's always the chance that they concede. What would the Ouphe out? All right, we just got to go through a couple clicks here. What you want to do is not lock yourself out from playing Squee by using up all your red sources. Okay. Okay, let's draw this card. Okay, that keeps the food chain going. Okay, we'll have to pass the turn here, but at least we have like a reasonable board position, and we can take out the Emery next turn, and we've got Force of Will here. Oh yeah, this is like a real army now. Okay, and they're ready to concede. Okay, so, well, that was a 4-1 result. Some thoughts on the deck here. Well, the second basic forest was horrendous and caused all kinds of problems. So I think I would just make that maybe another Wooded Foothills right now. Yeah, just gotta. Yeah, we just stumbled on that second basic forest a couple times, I think, in the league. All right, a third. Other than that, I think 20 lands is fine. I think the sideboard was improved. Meltdown did some work. We beat a Reanimator deck. Yeah, the food chain, it seems viable. I think looking back on the first round match against the blue-white-red control, I think I might have had the opportunity to play the front side of Questing Druid. You just need to get a board presence down against blue-white control decks with planeswalkers. And then maybe they have removal spells, but if you just sit around and try to seek the beast, they're easily going to outvalue you with their planeswalkers. So maybe I could have played better there. But yeah, so these were the matchups. The Jeskai control, black-white scam, Painter, we beat 2-0. Red-white initiative, we beat 2-0. It is nice to play a deck with a good initiative matchup. I don't know how great like Delver is against the initiative sometimes. And yeah, this was with those 3 main deck Furies, you know, you're pre-boarded for the initiative matchup. So I mean, that's pretty awesome. So yeah, I think we made some progress with the deck, but there's probably some room for improvement. Could probably still tweak the sideboard some. But yeah, I think I like what's going on here. This deck definitely seems close to actually being legitimate. So yeah, that's a ringing endorsement. I'll leave it there. All right, thanks for watching. Yep, have a good one.